Okay, good morning, everyone. And first of all, thank you very much for taking your time on a Sunday morning and being part of uh, this webinar. So let me explain like what we are going to learn from this webinar. So today's agenda, we will be understanding the power of reading, like how reading can change our life, what impact reading can bring, and what transformation reading can bring in people's life. And then what has done reading for me. I'll share my story. Then we will understand, we will do a baselining on your reading style and your reading speed. Then we will explore all what are the common bad reading habits or the habits which are stopping you to read more effectively. Then we are going to learn some speed reading techniques, which the top 1% of greatly successful people, great readers uses. We will understand what are the best ways to approach to get the maximum out of our reading. Then how to remember what you read. That's another important aspect of reading. And then we will look at how we can read and how we can target to read one book a week. So to start, let's put some ground rules so that we all get the maximum benefit out of it. First thing is participate. This is not something where I'm going to tell you some theory which you are going to by heart or anything. This is an activity-based program. So I would request all of you to actively participate in this. Whatever activity we are doing, involve in it. Like, don't carry that, okay, I may be knowing it. There's a huge difference between knowing and doing. Many times, knowing may not help us. Just keep away that thought of like, I know it, and just try doing it. Then we will see the difference. And avoid distraction and stay focused as much as possible. Avoid any distractions like mobile phone, laptop, or any other thing so that you get a focused attention on this session. And if you are comfortable, please turn on the video so that we all can see each other. That itself will create a connection.
How long approximately the session?
It will take around 90 minutes max.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And be open to learn and unlearn. Especially the second part, be very clear on that. We have to unlearn some of the ways we learned reading. So be ready to have that open mind. Don't think in with that rigid mind, okay, this is the way I have been learning from a long time and changing it may not make sense for me. Be open, because the moment you stop learning, the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. So you should be ready to explore different aspects, different thought process, and try to be keep that open mind and take notes wherever you feel. If you want to take a screenshot or if you want to take notes, it's good to take notes in a written notes, so that way you will be able to recollect or to get that concept in deep. So that's all on the ground rules. So let's get started. I don't want to waste any time. First thing, the power of reading. We all know knowledge is power. We all say that. But I would say knowledge is a potential power. Until unless we implement the knowledge is not really going to help. Acquiring knowledge is not going to help if you are not implementing or if you are not making use of it. So knowledge is actually a potential power. Let's look at how some of the great people in the world has used reading for their success. And let me ask you a question. What are the common habits of highly successful people? Just whatever is coming in your mind, you can say. Either you can type it in the chat box or you can.
They're readers and action takers.
Yeah, they are readers, they are action takers. Exactly, Bina. Anything else?
Good decision makers.
Good decision makers. Anything else? Just let it be
Empathetic
empathetic.
leaders. Yeah, empathetic
Yeah,
leaders.
yeah. Others also, please do try. Let's be it more interactive.
Early wakers.
Early
Updated.
wakers,
Early wakers, yeah, true.
early wakers, yeah.
Updated about current happenings or
Yeah,
trends or
they are up to date with what is happening around. Yeah. What else?
Sir, Nilesh Soni here from Baroda.
Ah,
Yeah, we are nothing but our habit.
ah,
So, of course, reading and implementing those things is very essential for our life.
yeah. True,
And
true.
the person who wrote the book is having the experience of lifetime. So, by just reading a book in a week and implementing those experience will enhance our life.
Yeah. Yeah, true, true, true. Yeah, basically there are a lot of great habits for highly successful people. And if you just go Google habits of maybe billionaires or successful people, you will get n number of great habits. I think one thing we missed was risk takers. I think they are always ready to take risk. That is one of the unique quality in them. Here we are going to focus on two qualities today that are very common qualities. One is reading. Second one is they are early risers. So let us come to the reading part. Most of them are crazy readers. They are not just like a normal readers. They are like crazy readers. They do read a lot. Let's look at few examples. I'm not picking more, but let's look at few examples. You all know who is he, right? Who is he?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah, Warren Buffett. He was the richest man in the world for a long time, and he is even now he is in the top 5 itself, right? What he talks about reading. 1 second. So what he talks his reading habits is like he spent almost 60 to 70% of his time in reading, and he used to read almost like 400 500 pages every day. So what he says about reading is he is considered as one of the the best person in when it comes to investment. He is considered as the guru of investments, and wherever he make investment, he was always like majority of the time he was able to make huge profit. What he says behind the success, his success is he says he reads a lot, not only books, all about business. He reads so much about business, and he says he make decisions not every day. He makes decisions once in a while, but that decisions are so powerful, and those are right decisions he makes. What he says is that is because he has got all enough information to make that decision. How do we make a decision? When we make a decision, we need to get a lot of information to take that decision. When you get the right information, when you have the right information, most of the time you will be able to take right decisions. So he gives full credit to his reading. Even now he reads a lot. He spent majority of his time in reading. Look at the impact. It's not only about the money he gained. He has decided to donate more than like 60-70% of his whatever he has made for charity. So that is his contribution. At the end of the day, it's not about how much you made. It's all about how much we gave to the society back. That matters. So he was such a gem of person who has benefited so much from reading. And another person, you all know him, right? Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, Tony Robbins' story is really interesting. He says what made him the Tony Robbins today. The Tony Robbins is considered as the guru, or we can say as the king of transformation, personal transformation. He says in his early days, he enrolled for some speed reading course, and he has set a target of reading like one book every day. He was not able to do that much, but what he did is in 7 years he was able to read 700 books, that too related to human psychology, personal transformation, coaching, all sort of related things. And he gave full credit of his formation for this reading. He said that this has put the foundation very strong. He has gained enough knowledge, enough confidence, and enough courage to take his life to the next level. So he always gave full credit to reading. And there is a famous quote from him. He says, miss a meal, not a problem, but never miss your reading. That's the way they consider. It's not only these two people. There are so many other people. If you look at Jack Ma, Bill Gates, or Swami Vivekananda, any of these great people, they gave a majority of their credit to reading. So reading can bring massive transformation in any of us. So imagine if you are able to read the best, maybe around 30 to 50 books in your industry, or in your domain, or in your niche, whatever it is, in your technology. Think about how much transformation that can bring in your life. Think about it. How much it can bring in your life. So we all know, like, what change we can get by reading books. Just I want you to visualize, if you are able to read. I don't know how many books you are able to read now, or how much you are read on your area and technology. Imagine if you are able to read around 50 books. How much that will transform your life. Think about it. Let me share my story, so that you all know me. I think some of you know me personally, but there are many new other people. So I just want to share my story. Is it fine sharing my story, taking few minutes?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So about me, a few years back, like, I'm an IT professional. Even now I'm working in an IT company, in an MNC, in a leadership role. I have around 20 plus years of experience. This IT professional is the outside world. Inside, I was a classic introvert with a lot of limiting beliefs. I come from a average or a middle class family background with a lot of limiting thoughts and beliefs. And I was enjoying a mediocre life, like doing things on the 11th hour, or getting things done at that way. And I was okay with that. But somewhere inside, I was feeling like, okay, I'm not doing. I was not feeling great about my life, and I was not clear on what is the purpose of my life, what I should be doing. I was not. I was just going with the flow. But today, like in last 2-3 years, I have got a tremendous transformation. I still play the same role of a leadership role in IT company. Now I'm an ICF certified, International Coaching Federation certified life coach, and an NLP certified NLP practitioner, and an agile coach, and the leadership coach. And also I am an Arfin Khan certified coach, and a speed reading practitioner and a coach.
Anil,
Yeah.
I'm also on the CTF program.
Yeah. Sorry, your name?
Beena Yadav.
Oh, Bina. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was not knowing you in the CTF.
Yeah, I joined STF also, but it is on hold now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah, yeah.
for knowing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So I have published a book also, and I have published many articles. And I was lucky to get interviewed by some of the YouTube channels and in some podcast. And more than outside change, what I've seen is a lot of change in inside. Means I have become a big fan of timely actions. Means internalize the potential of taking massive actions, which is consistently, and the compound interest of taking that actions, the results what we get. I have internalized that, and I have a very clear vision and purpose in my life now. And now I know my unlimited potential. All those limiting beliefs I was able to clear all those limiting beliefs and doubts in my mind, and I know how to manifest my vision, and I know what legacy I want to leave when I go from this beautiful place, what I want to create and leave behind. And it's more importantly the mind shift from taker to a giver. Like, I used to attend courses and all. I always look at what I can get. That was my thought process, but that has changed. Okay, what I can give back, because the feeling of giving is much empowering and better than whatever you are taking. So I got a great mind shift in that. That is the most positive or most important thing I consider. And I'm much more happier and successful. This transformation, I got it. How did I got it? It's primarily through reading. Let me tell what has changed my life. I was actually reading very less. I could say around like less than 5 books a year. That was my average reading until 2018. So in 2018, what had happened is I was appointed as the library committee member in my organization. And there I have to push people to read more. But what was happening is inside I was feeling guilty because I myself is not reading books. Then how come I can force others to read books? So that's the time I slowly started taking books from that library vendor and then start reading. So that's the way actually I started taking reading seriously. And in 2018, I think I was able to read around 20-25 books and I was feeling happy. And then I realized even in my area, because I was reading mostly coaching, leadership, and personal development related books. And I realized there is so much to read, so much great content to read that can bring massive transformation. But the challenge was I was not able to continuously focus. I was not able to remember the things. I was getting bored in reading and I was not able to speed up my reading. Means I have so much to read. With continuous reading, I was able to speed. Like I was reading like at a speed of around 120 words per minute, which was a very minimal speed initially. I was able to bring it up to around 250 to 300 words per minute just by continuously reading. But I was not able to go beyond that, which I was stuck there. And I realized, okay, this is the maximum speed I can read. The moment I try to increase the speed, the comprehension and the understanding was going away. So I thought, okay, I am capable of reading only this much. So let me stop there. I don't need to go try beyond because it's not working. There's no point in reading without understanding, reading faster without understanding. So I was just going with that pace. But in 2019 beginning, I went for an NLP training where I met one person called Shiva. He's a businessman from Hyderabad. And that day he was reading a book and I was also reading the same book. So we had a conversation and then we became very good friends. And he told his story and he told he's reading one book every day. Oh, which was unbelievable for me. How come somebody, and that too, he's a very, very busy businessman who's doing a lot of millet exports and other type of business. It's a big businessman. And I was wondering how come he's able to read one book every day, where I am taking almost 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks to read one book. And then he explained me some of the things, some of the techniques he used in reading to make this reading much more effective and interesting. So that was really a turning point in my life. Like I realized, okay, these type of techniques can really work. I started practicing those and then I started taking more actions like doing YouTube and finding out a lot of things related to speed reading, effective reading and all. And I did attend many courses also, like live 2 days workshops and all. Many things I attended. I explored a lot on speed reading, and that has got a massive transformation in me. And I realized without even compromising on my understanding, I was able to read much faster than where I was at that moment. And within an year, I was able to read 100 plus books. So which was a massive transformation in me. I'm not saying that reading 100 book is a great thing. So many people in the world are doing it. It is not. But when I look from my standpoint, where I was few years back, the transformation I got was really beneficial. It's not about reading that many books. It's all about internalizing or started seeing the improvement in my life in all areas of my life. When you start reading, especially on the non-fiction books, you learn a lot. You start implementing. You start seeing the difference in your life. So that is the reason I was able to get into different areas of areas, and uh, I was able to come out of all the limiting beliefs, and I was able to perform well in most of the areas in my life. And good thing is, after that, I got the confidence to get into writing also, and I have published my first book last year in 2019. and that too about reading. Because see, a person with a very minimal reading speed and efficiency, if a person like me can improve, and I realize anybody can improve. Anybody can improve the reading. Imagine the time, like if you are able to double your reading speed without compromising on your understanding. Imagine the time how much you can save. That time, either you can use for reading more books or you can utilize for any other productive activities. It really works. That's the reason I thought, okay, I want to spread this message to the world so that more people get motivated and more people can read and grow and succeed much faster in their life. That's my mission. This is the cover of my book. Okay, so thank you for allowing me to share my story. Let's get into the topic, how you can change your life. Are you all ready? Are you all ready to take, especially on the reading part, and take your life to the next level by reading, internalizing, implementing, and transforming your life?
Yes.
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 Okay. One thing, we be very clear on that. Your past doesn't equal to your future. I think this is one of the biggest myth or misconcept most of us will be having. We will think that, okay, I have tried doing something that time, it did not work. So in future, it is not going to work. Or I have been reading in this passion from a long time. This is my style. So it cannot be changed. So we all perceive things and we all create some perceptions and we are in that blocking belief system. So don't worry about the past. In the past, if you have a lot of reading challenges or limiting beliefs, all those things, just keep those away, because reading is not a talent. It is just a skill. And I can very clearly say that if you are reading slow or if you are reading ineffective, it's not like you are a bad reader or a good reader. It is just because you are not trained enough on the effective reading techniques. You are not practiced those techniques. Either you may not be knowing or you may not have practiced the techniques. That is the only difference. Because when I look at my life, I know that the practicing these techniques has helped me, and changing my mindset also has helped me to grow much faster. So we all know, like, if we all want to read more, learn more, do more, and grow more, what we should do for this, achieving this? First thing is, if we can measure, we can improve. Like anything of for that sort. Like without measuring, how do we improve? So let's do an activity. So are we all ready for an activity?
Yes.
Okay. So this activity is just I will show the screen where I will show a content. You have to just read in your normal speed, read in your normal way of understanding, because at the end there will be questions also. We want to check the comprehension also. So just go at your normal pace, and at the same time I would request you all to, if you have a mobile, take the mobile and put this stopwatch on, or even I can play the stopwatch, but I think it's better if you can take the stopwatch. Once you are ready, just let me know. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Okay, you can chat. Yeah, either you can chat or let me know. Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so the next page, you have the stopwatch ready. Just only thing you have to do is calculate the time, like how many seconds you are taking to read this uh, passage. Once you finish the reading, just note down the time you have taken for reading it. Okay, so I'm just showing the passage. Okay. Start.
Completed.
Yeah, just note down the time. Yeah,
37 seconds.
Yeah, same. 37 seconds.
yeah, just keep that time with you.
Okay.
I'll come back. Once everyone is done, we'll move to the next. Yeah.
Finish, Sahil.
Okay. All? Okay. So if you are done, let's answer these questions. First question, worrying is nothing but creating problems or thinking about the problems which really existed. Just answer whether it is true or
Yeah.
false.
True.
Okay.
True?
True.
True? Everyone?
Yep. True.
Yeah. So the answer as per the paragraph, it is false. Worrying is nothing but creating problems or thinking about the problem which were not existed, right?
It's really not existed.
Yeah, which really not existed. So answer is false. So what you should be doing, if your answer is right, you can put 20 points for you. There are 5 questions. If answer is right, 20. If answer is wrong, you will have 0 points. So the first question, answer is B. The author came back to India after leaving the job in
England.
England.
D.
England. If it is England, 20
England.
points. Any other, it is 0. When the author came back to India, the company offered him the promised job. Yes or no?
No.
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 Yes.
Okay. No is correct. If it is yes, you get 0 points. Yeah. The author was so much worried about the situation of not getting the promised job.
No.
No? Yeah. Answer is B. If it is B, you get 20 points.
No.
In that difficult situation, the author was looking towards building a future and he did it.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. So if you have answered, you can look at how many right answers you got. That is the way we are measuring the comprehension. Like if you have, if you all the 5 answers are right, you have 100% comprehension in this paragraph in the contest what you read. If you got 4 right answers, it is showing 80%. 3 means 60%, 2 means 40%. If you are fine, you can just put it in the chat box.
Yep. Fine.
What is your score? Like, what's the time you have taken? You know, right? Yeah, score you can on the computer. So let me show the speed also. Like, look at how much time you took to read this. This passage had 156 words. Look at the time. That shows how many words per minute you were reading. Means how many words you were reading in a minute. You can type in the chat box what was your speed.
267.
234.
Okay, 208 Uttam. Yeah. Kamal 187. Srinath 170. Yeah, 260 Akshay. Shruti 234. Anamika 170. Yeah. Kaveri 234. Yeah. Ramesh 234. Yeah. So this is something we can call as your baseline or your current speed. This is just a one test. I will tell how do we calculate with more accuracy. Just you can consider this as a first test score. Just note down this number. What is your speed and also your comprehension, like how much percentage of understanding you currently have. So we normally measure speed in terms of words per minute. What does words per minute means? How many words we are able to read in 60 seconds. That's what is called that is the standard measure of speed. So since we did this reading in a computer screen, and when you do the reading in a real book, it may vary a little bit. So I'll tell you how we can do this measurement.
I
Yeah.
have a question here. Can I ask or should I
Sure,
ask?
sure. Go ahead.
Is there a difference between adults and children for the words per minute?
So the standard words, yeah, for the children, I think below 10 to 12, it will be slow because most of the time they will read loudly.
Yeah.
So the standard speed actually is 150 to 250.
Okay,
The
because
range.
I was teaching one child.
Mama.
One second.
Yeah.
I was teaching one child reading. Speaking English, like
Ah.
vocabulary and spoken English, not
Yeah.
reading. He's very good in academics. He just needs
Ah.
confidence in reading and writing and talking, not related to grammar and all that. So I just googled out, what is the normal speed for kids. So I found 180.
Yeah, true. For
Yeah?
kids, it will be
Okay.
lesser. The
Okay.
primary reason is we will come to that section, like how did we learn the reading. So
Okay.
for them, even reading louder is also important, because the challenge with reading louder, it is
स्टार्ट हो गया ना
our rate
रेटिना
of speech.
जो सुन रही हूँ
Yeah, so we cannot talk too much.
ये सुन रही हूँ
Very-
मैं रीडिंग कर इसको
Yeah. So
I
I'll
can
explain
hear
that
Madam.
part.
Shruti, can you put your microphone on mute, please? Hanji. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I hope you all got an understanding, a base understanding of where is your current reading speed, right? So the standard reading speed is around 150 to 250. Don't worry, even if it is below 150, nothing to worry. It's very easy to improve, or it is easy to double your reading speed without compromising on your understanding.
Anil, can you repeat that? What is that? Like, what is the speed, minimum speed?
Yeah, the average reading speed for anybody, like any adult, is around 150 to 250 words per minute, in the range of 150 to 250.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you are even below that, don't worry. It's very easy to improve from that. You may have some bad reading habit. That's why you are not able to speed up. We will explore on that. So if you are in that range, perfectly fine. We can definitely, even if you are at the speed of around 250 or 300, we can easily improve much higher to do a much higher speed than that. It's easily possible. Let's explore more on that aspects. So one thing is, as I mentioned, we measure the reading speed in like words per minute. That is the standard. And sometimes for calculation, easiness of the calculation, we will measure in like words per second also, which is very easy for us to calculate on a smaller measures. Then there is something called words per page. Words per page means how many words are there in a single page of a standard, like of a book. Like when you are reading a book, how do we calculate that? Words per page we can calculate in couple of ways, but the standard way is you count the number of words in the first 5 lines. Take any page, take any standard page which is not having much images and all, and count the number of words, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like if you take the previous example, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First line has 5 words. Second line has 6 words. Third line has again 6 words. Fourth is having 3, 6, 9 words. So take the total of first 5 lines and average it out. Then you get the number of words per line. Normally it will be in the range of like 10 to 12 or 10 to 13 in the standard size book. This book is little smaller book. That's why it's coming somewhere around 8 or 9. Otherwise, normal, it will be around 10 to 12. And then count the number of lines in a page. Just take a random page. We don't need to count in all the pages. Take a random page. That will be normally like around 25 to 35 lines per page. So if you know, like if your one line is having 10 words and the page has 30 lines, then the average size of that page is... Hey, can you all please go on mute? Otherwise, I have to mute everybody.
ટીવી બંધ કરી
અરે મને ખાવું છે
ખાવું હોય તો લઈને આય ટીવી બંધ.
You can unmute if you want to talk. So that way, like look at the number of words in a line and count the number of lines in a page. That way you get the page size. That is, we called it as words per page or the page length. If you know, like one page is having around 300 words, and then look at the book size. If the book is having 200 pages, then it is a 60,000 words. So why we calculate in words is normally the speed we measure in words. That's why we calculate the book size as number of words, because it doesn't make sense in calculating the number of pages, because the book physical size will be varying, right? So but the word size most of the time will be somewhat matching. Like that's the way we call the we define the book size. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah. And then how do we calculate the reading speed? It's very straightforward, right? If you read for 1 minute, just look at how many words you read. That is your speed. Or if you are reading one page, the page has 300 words, and if you took 2 minutes to read one page, then your speed is 150 words per minute, right? You can calculate in that way. That is the easiest way to measure your speed. Why I'm telling about measuring is, if we want to improve anything, we have to measure it. If we are not able to measure, then there is no point in. It will not motivate us to improve. When you see some improvement, then you will get more motivation to do much better. That's why measurement is critical in reading. So let's do another exercise. Do you all have a book with you now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's
Yes.
do a quick exercise. Take the book, any page. Take the first line. Go to the first line and see what is the line. What is the size of the line? Like how many words are there in that line? You can probably look at the average of first 3 to 5 lines. Is it clear? Are we all ready?
Yes.
So, okay, what we will do is we will do a 1 minute reading. Just 1 minute reading. Just go with your normal pace. Mark where you are starting. I'll be using the timer. The moment I stop, I say start, you can start, and the moment I say stop, you can stop. Okay. I hope everyone is ready. Start. 3, 2, 1, go. Thirty seconds over. $45 seconds. Yeah. Stop. And now look at, now count how many lines you read. Like if your line length is 10, and if you read 10 lines, then it is like 100 words you read in 1 minute. You're getting that? You can put how many words you read.
24 lines.
24 lines into how many words per line?
How many words per line?
Average.
11 words.
Yeah, 11 to 24 is like 264, right?
Yeah, I want 267
Yeah.
in the earlier test.
Yeah, so it is almost like, you know, even in the screen reading or in the book reading,
It's
it's
same.
almost matching. So
Yes.
sometimes it may be varying. Like if you
Okay.
normally don't do much of screen reading, it may be little slow because of the
Yeah, yeah. The
screen.
visual difference in
Yeah.
yeah. But I do reading, so maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, true. Sometimes
same.
I just want to show that it may differ. It's perfectly fine. So this way you can see like what is your base speed now, right? Okay, so you can calculate. So I'm not going to calculate. So 26 lines into 9, you can multiply 26 into 9. So it comes around 234, right? So you can calculate what is your speed. You just note down both these numbers, you get a average of that. And then you can try to recollect how much you are able to recollect from that 1 minute reading. But did you get the gist of that content what you are reading? Maybe how much percentage you are able to get it. Means look at what was your comprehension. Yeah. So this is a way of measuring. If you really want to measure, maybe you need to measure multiple times, like 3-4 times 1 minute reading or a 1 full page reading, and then calculate the time taken. That way you can measure your base. Because once you know the base, then you can work on improving from that. Clear? So you can note down that, like, what is as of today, the date on 17th, this is your speed with this much percentage of comprehension, so that you know where are you standing now. Now let's look at, let me ask a few questions, like how many books you plan to read in 2020? And how many books you actually read in 2020?
0.
Okay.
No, I did 2.
Yeah.
My
So
goal
you
was
can
6
put
or
like,
7, but I did only 2.
you can just type in like a goal was 6 and you did 2. That means you did only like a 30% or something, right?
I read 8 books, Anil.
Okay. How much you planned? Was there any plan?
Plan was to read only 1 book to start the book reading.
Oh, great. That it is great. Yeah. Okay. So I want all of you to think about setting a goal for 2021. Think about what is possible for you. I'm not asking you to put a stretch goal or anything. Just think about, based on your earlier reading habits, everything. I want you to just think about setting a goal for 2021. You can type in that number if you are comfortable. Otherwise, you can keep the number with you. Yeah, Bina, you want to read 25. Ramesh, 10, 15. Yeah, 12, 25. Great. I could see like most of you are trying to set a goal, which is little challenging. That's a great thing to set. Let's look at how we will get there. Now let's understand a little bit of about our brain, about our capacity. We all know brain is like a superpower, right? You know, like how much data our human brain can store. When it comes to data, I'm talking about the data in terms of GB, like megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte type of thing. We know, right? That's the way we measure the data. Anybody has any guess like how much data our one human brain can store in terms of gigabyte or terabytes?
Some 512 terabytes.
Okay. Any other guess?
No idea. I think it should be unlimited because many people have so much kind of
It is unlimited
photographic
actually.
memory and something.
Yeah, let's look at some fact. There is a limit. Definitely there is a limit. This is the limit for a standard human brain. It is measured at around 2.5 petabytes. So petabyte is like 1000 terabyte is equal to 1 petabyte. Means 1 terabyte is actually 100,000 gigabyte. So it is something like around 25 lakhs gigabytes of data. That much of data can be stored in a human brain. So since brain is a physical object, right? So definitely it will have a limit. Now let's compare this with our internet data. Like look at Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook. Do you know how much data altogether they have in the internet world? How much data they store? I just look at from this number. Like if just a human brain is storing around 2.5, how much huge data will be available in all these stores? Any guess?
Must be thousands of
all-
petabytes.
Yeah, the hundreds of petabytes all clubbed together.
Yeah, so all clubbed together has around 1,200 petabytes of data, and this is growing. This is like almost becoming double every year. So it's a huge amount of data. So what I'm trying to say is, whatever data is there in the entire internet, like with these 4 gains, whatever they are storing, that can be stored in just 500 human brains. Are you getting that? We have a humongous capacity. Our brain is capable of storing so much information And look at the number of neurons. Like it has around 68 billion neurons. That's 6,800 crore neurons. And what does that show? It can store humongous capacity. It can store and process humongous amount of data. We have so much of power. It's only about we are not utilizing. We are operating like at a 8 to 10% of it. We are not even getting beyond that. We have so much power. I'm just showing this data to understand how much we will be able to store. Now let's look at how quickly we can adapt. We can adapt to learning faster. Let me ask, like, how many of you believe that you can double your reading speed without compromising on your understanding? Just tell openly. Do you believe that is possible?
Yeah, 100% possible.
Yeah.
Definitely possible.
Yeah. How much effort may be required?
There will be effort required.
Yeah.
Conscious effort. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see, like, how quickly our brain will adapt to things. Let me stop share and then share with audio. Are you able to hear the audio?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
You should stand for a culture of excellence.
Okay, so we were just hearing it, and I'm just going to.
The excellence not by accident. It is the process where an individual continuously strives to better oneself. The performance standards are set by themselves. They work on their dreams
I'm just further increasing
with focus and are prepared to take calculated risk and do not get deterred by failures as they move towards their dreams. Then they step up their dreams as they tend to reach the original targets. They strive to work to their potential. In the process, they increase their performance, thereby multiplying further their potential. This is an unending life cycle phenomena, culture of excellence. They are not in competition with anyone else but themselves. That is a culture of excellence. I'm sure each one of you will aspire to become a unique with culture of excellence. I learned every youth wants to be unique. Every youth wants to be unique. That is you. Every youth wants to be unique. That is you. But the world around you is doing its best day and night to make you just everybody else. Question is whether you want to be you or everybody else. Being like everybody else is convenient at the first glance, but not satisfying in the long vision. The challenge, therefore, my young friends, is that you have to fight the hardest battle. You have to fight the hardest battle, which any human being can ever imagine to fight, and never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is the unique you. To get the unique you, it's a big battle. The battle means you don't need to take a gun. The battle means you have to have 4 unique things. 4 unique tools you must have in that battle. One is you have to set the goal. The second one is acquire the knowledge continuously. And third one is the hard work with the devotion. And fourth is perseverance. Where there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is an order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Question is whether you want to be you or everybody else.
So, how was it? So, what did I do here? I just played
Speed
it
listening. Speed
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah, I just played it in a higher speed. But whether you were able to follow it,
Yes.
you were able to follow it, right? Like, how many
Yes.
of you are using this feature of YouTube, where we can increase the speed of videos?
I'm not using, I didn't know.
Okay.
Not using an
Yeah. So this is a very common feature available not only in YouTube, in many of the educational or learning applications. This feature is available. So actually, we are able to understand, even if we increase the speed into a 2x speed, our brain can quickly adapt to it. It's not at all a challenging thing. You can just going forward, I would request, this is one of the great thing. Like if you are watching informational videos, like you are doing a course, you want to learn something, you want to hear some TED talks, many of those things, If you are watching at a 2x speed, you are actually saving 50% of your time. And when you start doing it, you start enjoying it. I'm not talking about you watch everything in 2x speed. I'm just talking about wherever is possible. Wherever your objective is to gain knowledge.
Yeah, Anil, by doing this,
Yeah.
it won't impact and like losing patience when somebody is talking to us at a slower speed. We lose our patience. ऐसा नहीं होगा ना?
Yeah. No,
You know,
actually,
we'll get used to this, and then जब कोई आराम से धीरे से कोई बात करेगा, तो we won't have that patience.
yeah, I think it's, that's one side it is true, but look at the benefits of that. Like
Yeah.
this is an era of information overloading. You get so much of data and you feel you have so much to do and you don't have time. You don't have time to hear, and many places like people are speaking in a very low speed. I'm not talking everywhere you use it. In some places, like especially when you listen to some sayings and all, you may need to go with the normal flow to get connected and everything. I'm just trying to say that this is a technique.
No, true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying on a lighter note, because when you're talking with kids, you need to have a lot of patience. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like wherever applicable, we can utilize it. This can really help because I watch almost all the information videos in a 2x speed. The good thing about that is when you watch on a faster pace, your focus will be more because you don't have time to roam around and think about something else. You will be very focused.
True. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that is something which we can always use. Now let us get into like how we learned reading. We all know like we started recognizing alphabets, that was the starting, and then we read each alphabet loudly, then read words loudly, and then we read words silently in our mind or in our head. That's the way we learned reading. And what was next beyond that? Did we learn anything after that?
No.
Just see when we were reading alphabets, we were reading like C-A-T, cat, R-A-T, rat. But after some time, we stopped reading that each letter, right? But we started reading as cat. Now, when we see cat, we don't read each letter, right? Same way, like if you are...
Bolt.
Sorry? Hello?
Mute.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is when we are reading words, we are not reading alphabets now, right? Are you reading alphabets again? Even in our mind, are we reading the alphabets?
No, Anil.
Words.
Don't read. When you just look at a word, you just look at the word and you grasp what it is, right? You get the meaning of the word directly. You don't spend time on reading each alphabet. The same is possible when it comes to sentences also. That is the core, that is the crux of it. When you are reading a word, you are not reading alphabet. The same is possible when you are reading a sentence, you don't need to read each word. You may feel it is not getting into your head, but this is the reality. You actually can read words also together. You don't need to read each word separately. This is the core of it. This is the biggest challenge most of us have, and this is the blocking. Now, nobody taught us beyond reading silently. Nobody taught us what is next. So there is a space. After this also, we have opportunity to read words together. We don't need to read each word. We'll get into that. How do we come there? See, this is the normal reading process. We go from one word to another word, and after some words, our mind start roaming around. We go all around the world, and again come back to that. And then by that time, you might not forget what you read. Then you again go back to somewhere in an earlier words. Again, you come back. So this is the actual normal slow reading process. We are wasting too much of time in going out of focus and again going back and reading. This is the way the normal reading process happens. And there are actually three types of readers. We call it as motor reader, auditory reader, and visual reader. So motor reader means, I want all of you to think about what type of reader you are currently. Motor reader is a person who is reading loudly. means reading with making sound. Second one is auditory reader. Auditory reader is a person who is not making any sound while reading, but reading in their head. Means in their mind, they are reading each word and then moving. The visual reader is a person who is not reading each words, who is getting the meaning of what he sees or he or she sees. The ideal goal is to get into a visual reading stage, where why we have to go to visual reading is motor reader. The challenge is you cannot read beyond your speed, speaking speed. You know, right? If you are reading loudly, the speaking speed, interestingly, the speaking speed of normal speaking speed is around 150 to 200 words only. And if you are reading loudly, you cannot go beyond that. And auditory reader also, even though you are not reading, making any sound, internally you are reading each word. That also stops. Only thing you are not making any sound. That also you cannot go like beyond 300 or anything. Then you get stuck there. If you want to go further beyond, you should get into a visual reader mode where you don't read each and every word. You look at the words and get the meanings together. So that is the actual state we should be reading. Any questions here? We'll come to the techniques and other.
Yeah, visual. Can you explain again?
Yeah, visual means they don't read each word in their mind or in their head. Means what you see, you get the meaning. You don't read actually the each and every word separately. Yeah.
Quick question here, Anil. So if you are a visual reader, would you be able to, how soon, can you grasp the information, right? Sometimes when you are reading entire sentences, you tend to skip the entire context and meaning of the whole sentence.
No, we will not skip. We will skip only what can be skipped. That requires some practice, definitely. Look at how we are wasting our time. I'll explain that, then you will get that clear picture.
Sir, I would like to add something in this.
Yeah.
When we see the photo of apple, so we never remember the word A-double-P-L-E, but we understand the meaning apple.
Yes.
So in the same way, I'm photographically, I'm reading the sentences and gaining the meaning.
Yeah.
It is the right context, what I'm speaking about?
Yes. Yeah, that is the same context. See, if you look at watching a video or watching a movie, you know how much amount of data we are processing at that time. But are you putting any strain or effort in that? You are just going with the flow, right? You are just going with that. But that is something, a technique called movie reading. So there, it's all about, we are just going with the author in that journey. You are not trying to read words to get the meaning. You are trying to capture the meaning of things together. And the moment you see something, you are visual. See, it's more about utilizing our right brain, the creative part of the brain. So there are techniques on each of these things. I'm not covering so much here because otherwise I will not be able to cover the remaining part. Yeah.
With Nilesh ji's example, what I could understand is when you look at Apple, that's a logo. And that's a visual communication.
Yes.
That is not reading or interpreting. There is no interpretation in that. It's just identification.
Yeah. So
of a brand, of a logo, or of a company name. But reading visual, when you say movie or when you say visual reading, that is actually absorbing a lot of information and making your own visual images in your mind to interpret that information and put it into your memory.
Yes. Yeah.
Not the Apple logo would be just visual communication for identification. No information is passed through just that Apple logo.
Yeah. So what I would interpret in this way, like if you are reading, like if you are seeing a word apple written in a book, so are we trying to get that complete word as it is, or are we able to visualize that thing? Say for example, when you are driving very fast on a road and on the roadside you see some boards, like maybe Pizza Hut or Domino's and anything. Most of the time you will not be reading it, but still you will be able to capture it. Even if it is something you are not very familiar, also you will be able to read. You will be able to capture it, because ideally we are capable of capturing it much faster. It's only about we are not putting a conscious effort there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Yeah, there are three types of readers. Yeah, our focus should be to come out of this voice acoustic, means the dependency on the voice, either it is a loud voice or internal voice, directly transfer the visual into the meaning. That is the goal. Now look at some of the bad reading habits. The first one is vocalization, or we call it as loud reading. The limitation I told, we cannot go beyond our speaking speed. Second one is called subvocalization, or reading in our head or reading in our mind. Means each word we are reading. There also the limitation is you cannot go much faster because each word you need to grasp each word separately. Then another thing is called regression. Regression is nothing but rereading. Means you are reading a line, you are starting from the left and moving towards right, and in between, either because your mind got deviated, you lost the focus or something, or you were not getting the meaning and you are just passing your eyes. So that time, this happens, regression. You feel that, okay, I did not get the meaning of what I read, I will go back. And regression also impacts a lot in the speed because we spend so much time in going back and rereading. If the word page has 300 words, you may end up reading 500 words because you go back and read. That's another common bad reading habits. Then another thing is progression is we are moving forward in the sense you are rather than focusing on the current context, your eyes are going down or on the right without even getting that whatever you are trying to read. Means you are progressing much faster than you are supposed to. Then the focus shifting. This is the most common thing, like when you are reading, your mind start wandering and you go all the way, you lost the focus and then you lose the interest. All these things happens. These are some of the very common bad reading habits. Like by applying techniques, I'm going to explain some of the techniques now. Techniques, we can come out of all these habits very easily. So I want you to think about what are your common challenges, like any of these. Are you struggling with any of this? Do you have a regression? Do you have a subvocalization? Do you have focus shifting? So one exercise we do, we can do is we can just put what are your challenging beliefs. Like you think about, I am a very slow reader. First thing is you have to change that belief. So there is something in NLP, there is a technique called belief coming out of limiting beliefs. There is something called we have to replace our thought process with a powerful belief. And we need to see it's all about going into your subconscious mind. Means you have been programmed in such a way that I am a very slow reader, and always you are in your head, you are always saying that, and you keep on thinking that I am very slow, I can't improve, I can't improve. And that is already embedded in your subconscious mind. You need to do the cleaning of that. How do we do the cleaning is you replace that limiting belief with a powerful belief. Something like I have a super powerful memory, or I am a very fast reader, or something which make meaning to you. You convert that negative code or the belief, what is the limiting belief, and put a positive code or something called an empowering code. And you keep on repeating that on a daily basis. Then slowly you will put that into your subconscious mind. And the moment you get that limiting belief, you will replace it with this. This is the technique. It requires some practice, but I'm just giving an overview of that. That's one of the way to come out of. Definitely a lot of techniques we will, the practical technique we will apply, but at the same time, the mind shift is also very important. If you are still believing that I can't do, then it is not going to happen. Making sense?
Yes, yes, Anil.
Yeah. So now let us look at how do we improve the speed and efficiency of reading. Let's consider any process, not only reading, any process. How do we improve? First thing is we should be, sorry. I was going backward. Yeah. First is we should be able to provide more data. We should be able to process more data, and we should eliminate any waste in the process. To improve the speed and efficiency of any process, these are the common steps. Now look at when it comes to read. First thing is provide more data. You should train our input devices. What are our input devices when it comes to reading? Eyes and ears, right? Why ears? Any idea? Why ears play a role?
Listening, 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 and processing information.
Mostly when we are listening, especially audio books and all, ears play the role, right? Or even listening to any video or anything. Yeah. So this is, I'm explaining one technique which can help us to improve, provide much more data to our brain. So it's all about, we saw the capacity of brain. Same way when you look at our eyes also, we have a humongous capacity. Like there is two types of vision. One is called a peripheral vision and one is called a focused vision. Focused vision is something we are focusing sharp, and peripheral is a wider vision. So we have a balanced vision. We have a great focused as well as peripheral vision. And any object we place it in a focused vision, we are actually seeing it very clearly. So the focused vision is actually around 8 degrees in front of us. So when you are reading a book, actually it is coming in our focused vision. So what I'm trying to say is, when you are looking into one page, actually you are seeing everything in that page. Only thing is, since we are focusing on a single word, we are just seeing only that. Actually, we see everything from that page, but we are not giving any attention. That is something one side we call it as photographic memory and all, right? Where we see like, okay, when you see a page, you get everything. But it is happening with everyone. The only thing is we are not sending all those information from that page to our brain. We are just looking only, or we are just asking our brain to capture only that portion of it. So visual metaguiding is an opportunity where we can decide the pace. So what happens normally is, it's a game between our brain and us, or we can say brain and our eyes. Our eyes is capable of sending so much data to the brain, but since we are not able to, since we are not processing it, or we could say like, since we are not understanding, we feel that okay, there is no point in sending so much data if brain can't understand. See, the brain's challenge is, most of the time it is comfortable in this comfort zone. It's not ready to take any additional risk or anything. Like when we want to do something challenging, most of the time it will stop us saying that why are we going out of comfort zone? Why do we really want to do that? Because anything extra we try to do, the brain has to work more, right? If you are, instead of sending one word at a time, if you are sending so much of data together, then the brain has to work more to focus or process that data. So that is not easy. That's why most of the time what happens, we think about, okay, if you send more data, brain will not be able to process, then what's the point in reading more? Visual metaguiding is a easy technique to help us to send more data. Like normally when we read, we just go from words to words to words to words, right? Visual metaguiding, what we use is, we use either a pen or a pencil as a visual guiding device, and you pass your eyes, means you move this pen or pencil as fast as possible through the lines, and your focus is primarily on just looking at the tip of the pen or the pencil. Means the advantage here you are deciding the pace. Getting it? You are not focusing on understanding or anything here. First thing is, you are just trying to train your eyes on going in a guided way. Means you decide the pace. If you are reading at a 200 words per minute speed, you are going to practice it in a 3x speed, like 600 words per minute. First thing is, you will not understand anything. You will not understand. Your understanding will be zero. But the objective in that exercise is to train your brain or train your eyes to send more data. Means ideally you are seeing everything and it is going to your brain. Only thing you are not able to focus because your limiting belief is like, you are not understanding why I'm sending more, why I'm sending more. But in visual metaguiding, the objective is to send more data. Processing is a second part. We will come to that later. The visual metaguiding will help us to send more data as per our wish. So if you are reading at a 200 speed, think about, you have to read at a 600 speed, and then you move your pen or pencil as fast as possible through the lines and try to capture. And initially you will not get anything. You may get 1 or 2 words when you are reading. Don't stop there. This is the biggest mistake most of the people do. They will give up when they try this. Initially they feel that I'm not understanding, why should I try this? But if you practice it, if you practice this for a good amount of pages, you will see that you are getting that understanding. Means what is happening is, naturally your brain will start adapting. Same like what we did in video in 2x speed, right? Initially, when you see some videos in 2x speed, you feel that I am not able to understand anything. But when you decide that you are going to go in that speed, you can see that brain naturally put more focus on trying to understand. So that is one of the core technique most of the people uses for improving the speed. Are we all getting it?
Yes, Anil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we need to practice it. Without that, we cannot get master in it. Yeah. I know we have a time limit, so I may not take that exercise. I would request what you to do is see about this. If your speed is 200, like if you are taken maybe 3 minutes to read one page, target to read that page in 1 minute. And here the objective is not reading to understand, just reading to capture that your eyes. That is the only objective. And then practice it. Practice it for like 10 to 20 pages. Go it in a 3x speed. Like if you're taking like 3 minutes and now taking 1 minute means only 20 minutes, you will be able to go through 20 pages. And then you will start seeing that you are able to get some of the information. You will start slowly get like 5%, 10%. And then over a period of time, you will realize that you are getting majority of the things without losing the comprehension. This is one of the core technique most of the speed readers are using. It requires practice. I'm not saying that it is something suddenly we can change. We can do some practice. I'm not doing that. I would request you to do some practice on that. Taking a pen or pencil and then move it very, very fast. Maybe if we can, if we are all okay, maybe we can do practice for maybe 30 seconds. Are we all ready?
Yes.
Okay, just take a pen or pencil, take any page in your book and decide like the goal should be at least one line should complete in 1 second. Just put that target. It's a difficult target, but I want you to put that target. 1 second you move your pen or pencil and try to move your eyes as fast as possible. Just do it. I know it will be painful initially. Just try that and see how do you feel. Are you able to do?
Yes,
Difficult.
with effort.
Yeah. Okay.
With a lot of effort.
Yeah. Initially it will be challenging, but if you are practicing that, you can see the difference in like once you cross like 20-30 pages, you will see real difference in that. Now look at some other concepts. Like there is some we were talking about how to eliminate waste, right? And first thing is you should give more input, then process more input and eliminate. One of the biggest wastage of time while reading is you have excess of eye fixations. Eye fixation means when you read one word, you look at that word and then you move your eyes to the next word. Let's see. If you have this many words, if you have 7 words in a line, most of the time you go from how first word, then second word, then each word you are giving an eye fixation. Actually, this is a waste of time because each eye fixation costs you around 0.2 seconds to 0.6 seconds. So if we can reduce this eye fixation, you can save a lot of time.
In this, when we want to reduce the eye fixation, if we are reading the first line, worrying is nothing but creating. So in this, which word, how do we decide which word should we take a second mode to fix on so that we get the meaning while doing speed reading?
Yeah, I will explain that. I'm coming to that point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the slow reading process we saw. Now let's look at how this technique. This is another technique which is called like the great readers use. They don't even use a visual metagading device or anything. There is another technique that also can be utilized when we do the practice on visual. If you practice visual metagading, this technique works really, really great. So this is something like they don't read word by word. They read words together as logical chunks. This is called a chunk by chunk reading. You know, Swami Vivekananda was one of the greatest when it comes to speed reading, and with like 100% comprehension. He was able to read so fast, as well as he was able to memorize and recollect everything. This was not something just a pure talent. It was like he acquired through continuous practice. He was also doing same way, like reading words loudly and then silently without sub-vocalization. Then he was able to capture sentences without sub-vocalization, and then paragraph. Like when you see something on the screen like this, like there are some 4 or 5 lines written. The moment you look at it, everything together, he was able to capture as a single meaning of the sentence. So that's the way he was able to read. That is actually possible. So the chunk by chunk reading concept is, you don't look at single word, you look at a set of words. Then you move your eyes to another set, another set, another set. So here, instead of, if this has 10 words, instead of 10 eye fixations, within 3 to 4 eye fixations, we are reading. That means we are saving the eye fixation time for around 6 eye fixation. Each eye fixation costing 0.2 seconds, means 1 second you are able to save in a line. This is the core of it. Let's look at how we do that. There are multiple steps to do it. First is like we will start with a 2-word chunking. 2-word chunking means I have divided this into approximately 2 words. What we should be doing is, when you read the first 2 words, don't look at any of these words. Only look at the space between these 2 words. When you look at the space between 2 words, you are actually seeing both the words. Just try looking at it. Look at only the space between the words. Don't look at any of these words. But still you will be able to see the words, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do with a small exercise. So there are multiple steps, like 2-word chunking, then 3-word chunking, and then we go with a logical chunking of chunking more words together. So it requires some practice.
This will be that peripheral,
yeah, it's actually we are it's called as peripheral vision, utilizing peripheral vision. But actually, when you are reading a book, it is not even going to our peripheral vision. It is in our focused vision only, because book comes within our 8 degree of angle. So now what I am going to ask you is, in the next slide, I would request you to look only at the center letter. I have put the letters here, 3 rows, 3 columns. Look only at the center column and just read downward. And at the same time, you see whether you are able to see the letters in both the sides. But be very clear, don't look at the letter in the left side or right side. Just look only at the center and read downward. Are you able to see this? See the side letters also?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Now let us, so those were some random letters. Let us try with some words. Read like only through the center, downward. And see, are you getting the words?
And getting the words is hard, but
yeah.
we are getting.
Yeah, see, it is a totally a different way of looking at it, right? So the first time you are not going to get it. You may feel some strain in your eyes, but the objective is, don't focus on the left or right words. You just look only at the center letter. We are actually capable of doing. It is only about we have never utilized this ability in us.
I'm able to do easily.
Yeah, let's do it in a real words. Look only at the center words and read it. This is the way we can practice it.
I can do it.
Yeah. Getting it? So this is actually called this sentence. If you look at this, is actually a 3-word chunking. In the 3-word chunking, we focus on the center word. At the same time, you are reading both the words. Means if your line has around 12 words, if you follow 3-word chunks, you can read in just 4 eye fixations. You can read 1 line. Getting it? Means you will look at the second word, then you will go to the fourth word, then you will go to the sixth word. That's the way, like every third letter only we will be reading. Is it making sense? I know it requires some practice.
Practice
Yes.
makes to it.
Yeah.
It's difficult now.
Yeah. Yeah, it requires some practice because this is not the normal way of reading, right? We were not practiced in reading this way. But the benefit what you get for putting the effort is much worthier than the effort you put. Because you will be able to easily read at least minimum 2x speed with a couple of weeks of practice on this. Think about if you are able to read at a 2x speed, you are able to save 50% of your time. So this is some of the techniques I was telling. Like again, now when it comes to reading, what is the approach we should be taking reading? The best approach to read. The first thing is our actual reading should start. The reading should start even much before we really open the book. Most of the time what happens is people just get a book, just open and start reading from the page 1. That's not the right approach to take. Because we are not very clear on what we are going to read. It is about a project planning. Reading, consider it as a project. You need to plan very well. First thing is you should know why are you reading this book. You should know, build a connect with the author. Those are some of the steps will help us creating curiosity in us. And there is something called technique called a powerful preview. Doing a preview will help you to get a high level bird view of this book. What I am going to get out of this book. And then you go with an approach of implementation or teaching. There are different steps and different approaches to apply for getting the best experience on reading, to make it reading more interesting. Let's look at some of those. First thing is starting with your why. One thing I'm talking not about fiction books or entertainment reading. I'm talking about more serious reading or non-fiction books. So that's the place where we get maximum out of it. Start with your why. It's your why are you reading this book? You should have an objective of reading this book. Then build an emotional connect with the author. Like when you are seeing an author, imagine any of your friends or relatives are publishing a book. Then you will be eager to read that, right? Because you know that person personally. Then definitely you will have that curiosity to know what is he want to say, because you are having an emotional connect with the author. So the same emotional connect nowadays, it is easy to build. You can just go and watch their YouTube videos. They can see their interviews or their Facebook or anywhere. You can easily connect with the author. Means to understand what is his or her mission in life, what they are trying to do, what are their other books. Those connection is important because the human connection works much better than the logic. So connect with that person. That will help you to create more curiosity, and then have a compelling purpose for reading. Compelling purpose is why is one side. Why is a higher purpose. Compelling purpose could be something very specific. Say for example, if you are reading a book on communication, your why should be, I want to improve my communication skill. But your compelling purpose can be, I want to improve my communication skill so that I can apply that in my sales presentations or wherever. Means have a unique compelling purpose for reading that particular book. When you have an objective of reading that book, very clear objective of reading that book, then you will have more curiosity to read that book. You know that once you finish reading also, you will see whether I am meeting that objective. It's more about going with a proper planning for reading. Then doing a powerful preview. There is a systematic approach of doing the preview. Means start reading the back cover, coming to the table of contents, doing a high level chapter preview. There are steps involved. Then when it comes to each chapter, you do a preview of the chapter by going through the headings, subheadings, and the key points, so that before you reading itself, you know what I'm going to read, so that you will be able to apply a lot of reading techniques also. You will be able to skip many of the content which you are very familiar with. Then once you are done with the reading, there are techniques to summarize the book so in such a way that so you will not forget about the book. You will be able to recollect the book. there's something called a one-page summary. So this is something I used to follow for books. I create a document and then I put like what are the key takeaways from this book, what is the one top takeaway, what are the things which I am going to implement, because these are applicable for non-fiction books. And there is another thing called mind maps. Mind maps is another beautiful way of summarizing the books. Means mind map is more of a visual representation of the book. It is not like the one-page summary. It is more of a visual representation. So I can show some example. So this is the mind map I have created for the book called Think and Grow Rich. I know one of the most popular book. It is 13 Steps to Riches. When you draw a mind map, you will be able to easily connect with it. You know, like what are the different steps, what are the sub steps involved, all those things. Once you are done with a book, if you are able to draw a mind map of that, then majority of the time, like you will be able to recollect the book in a very, very quicker, easier way. So in this, like having a burning desire, I have attached a picture, and when you put some picture and other stuff, you know, okay, this is what. It's all about how do you train our brain to recollect things faster. Like some of the memory techniques we can apply, many things we can do. This is the way we can remember the books. I think mind maps, if you Google, you get, and there are so many tools, free tools available for creating mind maps. Mind maps is used not only for books, anything. When you have a step of things to follow, or when you have a set of things to follow, creating a mind map will help you to get a very clear picture of it, which you can able to recollect quickly. Is it clear? Okay. Next thing is, anything we do, normally we do 2 times. Like once we do it in our mind, second we do it in the reality. So I want all of you to think about, you know, the power of your eyes, you know, power of your brain, what are some of the quick techniques which we can. I know it requires practice, but you know it is possible. If it is possible for me, I'm 100% sure that it is possible for anybody. I want you to think about, rethink about your goal and redefine a challenging goal, because don't put a goal which is in your comfort zone. Put a goal which is really challenging, and then take that goal forward and work towards that goal by applying any of these techniques. Visual meta guiding or chunking are the 2 core techniques in speed reading. If you apply that technique, you can easily improve your reading speed. Is it clear?
Yes, Anil.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
So, yeah, what is next? Okay, what I am currently doing is, I know you all know that with some practice, we can improve our reading speed. So what I am doing is, I am actually doing a 5 days program, like every day, spending 1 hour together and learning and practicing all these techniques by applying on live reading. Like you will be doing the reading, and it is something I call it as a Read and Grow Masterclass. It's a 5 days masterclass. It starts, and the 2 things I am trying to do is, one is reading, second is waking up early. I was able to achieve many things because I start my day very early. I start my day at 4 a.m. That has helped me to manage my office work as well as my personal goals, and that is why I was able to even publish a book in 6 to 8 months of preparation. So it is about teaching you 2 things. One is waking up morning and spending that time. Waking up morning has a lot of advantages. You will be ahead of many people, and you will be getting enough quality time with yourself. It's a personal time can utilize. And this will be 1 hour live sessions, no recorded sessions, but this recording will be shared in case if you cannot attend. And we'll have a daily practice during the session, and you'll have a daily around 20 minutes of homework for every day, because without practice you cannot see any improvement. And then we will be learning multiple speed and comprehension test. We will be doing multiple tests to see how are we improving, and we'll be building a challenging but achievable goal. Like I know now you have set some goals of reading 20 books or 30 books, and we will have a plan, like how do we read that. And At the same time, like we were talking about one more topic, I think I missed explaining. Let me just share that also. We were talking about how do we read one book every week, right? So look at some marks here so that you understand. I think we crossed the time. May take another 5 more minutes. Hope you are fine with that, right?
Yes, Anil.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So consider you are going to read for 6 days. Just take Sunday for, not include Sunday. So normal books, I'm just putting as an industry standard average. Normal average book size is somewhere around 180 pages. And that means if you are reading 6 days, if you want to finish one book in a week, you need to read around 30 pages in a day. If you have around 300 words per page, you need to read around 9,000 words per day. And what is the words per minute speed required? Say, for example, your words per minute speed is 200, then you need to read for around 45 minutes every day. And if you want to read the same in 20 minutes, you need to read at a speed of around 450 words per minute. Now let's look at some other aspects. There are some techniques called skimming. Skimming, I have not taught you that technique, but that technique is something where you can get the gist of the page without reading everything. That technique can be applied in many places when we are reading. Many of the time when we read, many things you may be already knowing, already familiar with. In that places, we can increase the speed, means you can go much faster and grasp the things. Applying skimming, you can easily save like 20-30% of your entire book reading. Any book, some portion will be definitely able to go through skimming. Then there is another principle called Pareto principle, that is called 80-20 rule. What does that say is 80% of any book you can get by reading 20%. And this is a very common principle. If you Google, you can find it. It is applicable in many areas. Like if you look at any software, 80% of the software features are used by only 20%, or we can say in the other way, only 20% of the software features are used only by 80% of the people. And when Microsoft has done a survey, they have realized, okay, Microsoft Word is a feature-rich application, but only 20% of the features are used by majority of the people. I think that is one reason they came up with a web version of it, and that doesn't have all the features of the Windows version. It's the same, and the same way they say like 80% of the world's wealth is with around 20% of the people. So this Pareto principle is applicable in almost all areas of our life. It can be easily applied in our book reading also. If you are trying to get 80% of the content of the book, you need to read only 20%. But if you want to read 100%, you may need to read another 80% also. So you should decide whether I want to get each and every thing from that book, or whether I want to get 80% of the message from the book so that I can implement something in the book. So when you practice some of the regular techniques, you will be easily able to save around 20-40% of your reading. Means if your reading target is somewhere around 9,000 words for a book per day, actually you don't need to read that much when you are reading, actually by applying skimming and this type of few techniques. And definitely when you apply our visual meta guiding or chunking, that itself will most of the time will double our speed. In reality, if you really want to read one book, you need to read around 5,000 to 6,000 words per day. And that if you read at a speed of around 300 words per minute also, you can read it in 19 minutes or 20 minutes. Ideally, anybody in a speed of around 200 can easily double their reading speed. That means if you are reading at a speed of around 400 words per minute, you don't need more than 15-20 minutes to finish one book in a week. You need to read only 6 days. 7th day, what you can do is 7th day you can use for creating the book summary or the mind map, or even you can do the preview for the next week's book. So those things can be easily achievable. Reading one book per week is not at all a challenge for anybody if you practice. Like it requires some practice. I'm not saying immediately you can do it. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm doing is I have already started taking these sessions to a lot of people. What I'm doing is this 5 days masterclass, 1 hour every day for 5 days. This is not recorded session. This is all live session, so that we can have a lot of Q&A, do the exercise and see how we can correct. And we will go through a lot of other, there are many other limiting bad reading habits. There are many other things beyond what we saw, and even powerful reading techniques, as I mentioned, skimming, scanning, movie reading. Then there are a lot of elimination techniques to how to eliminate the right part, where to eliminate all those things. There is something called reverse sweeping. There is tapping to practice the chunking. Then how to do the logical chunking, more than 3 words, how to go beyond 3 words. All those techniques I am teaching in this 5 days masterclass. And there are a lot of brain creativity enhancement techniques which will help us to improve our creativity, like to focus more on the right side of the brain, so that we can practice more of movie reading and creating the images. And it is not a free session. It involves some cost, because I am doing it with some lot of effort from my side, and also the Zoom cost and other aspects are there. So I am charging. The cost of this workshop is $999 for this 5 days class, but I am not charging that. I'm on a mission. Like this year, I'm on a mission. I started very recently on this journey, and I'm on a mission to coach around at least 5,000 people this year. I want to reach out to more people. So I don't want to make money as a burden or money as a challenge in this. And I am going to give it in a massive discount. I'm just charging a very minimal amount. And why I'm charging a minimal amount is, if you give anything for free, people not value. People don't value. When people are ready to pay some money, definitely they will feel that, okay, I have spent some money, at least let me be a little serious about it. So I'm charging a minimum amount is 197 rupees for this 5 days masterclass. It's happening every week, and it is the next batch is starting from tomorrow, where we will be going through, as I explained, we will be going through much deeper into these techniques, and we will be practicing. And I can guarantee say that if you practice this, with this 1 week itself, you can see a massive change in the way you are reading. You will be able to come up with setting a very powerful and challenging goal for you, and will be able to read much faster. So I think that's all I have. If you are interested to join, I just want to hear some from you. Any feedback, like, are you interested to join? Let me know. I can share the payment link.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, can I teach my son after I do this? Like, is it
Yeah,
possible?
you can, but the only thing is we should be careful. Like if they are very young, don't teach this mind reading at all, because they have to read properly in the initial stages to make sure their pronunciation is right. If they don't talk, if they don't read
Yes.
loudly, they will not be
Yes.
able to understand.
But kids with 9 or 10 years of age,
Yeah,
9-year-old,
around
I
10
can
and
teach
above,
them.
Yeah, 10 and above, they can easily do
I
it.
can teach them these techniques of chunking.
Yeah. So I can just share you the payment link. This class will be starting tomorrow morning, 5:30. And I would recommend come and attend the session live. Even though I share the recording, I don't recommend to just go through the recording.
No,
Because
I'll
if
come
you
and
come
live.
and live, you will be able to practice and you will be able to correct your mistakes. I'm just sharing the Instamojo payment link. If you are interested, I will be adding you in a WhatsApp group. There, all the communication, everything will be going through that. You
Yes,
can make
please.
the payment through this, or you can even GPay me on my number if you have any doubt. Or even in the Instamojo also, I think they charge some minimum amount as a service charge. I think they charge some 6 rupees or 5 rupees. And if you want to exclude that, we can just do in Instamojo itself, there is an option to pay through NEFT. So then there will not be any additional charges. It will be just 99. Otherwise, I think it will be 197 plus another, I think 8 or 10 rupees they will charge. Yeah, the timing is 5:30 a.m. to 6:30. And it is not a big batch. It will be like small batches, I think around 10 to 12. I just started very recently. So it's not a very big batch, so that small batches, so that everyone get enough attention. Any further questions?
Hey, Anil, can you share the summary slide that you shared on your batch timing? You know, you skimmed the sky.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Is this the one? Yeah.
Previous one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It talked about your timing and other stuff.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. This is the one. So the commitment I am looking from you is you should be ready to spend this 1 hour plus another 20 minutes to do. Because every day you will have some assignments. But it is mostly reading assignments, and we will be doing what we do is we will come up with what are the books you are going to read at least for the next 3 months, and then we will come up and we will pick the books which you want to read, and we will do the powerful preview. Everything. It's more of completely practical. It's a completely activity based session, so that you will really see the results.
Anil, I will let you know on this part.
Oh, perfectly fine. I know many people may have challenges in the morning timing.
Nilesh ji is there.
Anil, I'm moving. Like I have some work now.
Yeah, sure. I'm done. Yeah. Once again, thank you all.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, I will share this link through email also. Like in case if you have any questions, you can reach out to me.
Yeah. Nilesh Soni is there. I mean, is he there? I just would like to get connected with him.
Hey,
Yeah,
Anil,
I am also from Baroda, so I thought of getting connected, Nilesh ji.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Anil,
Can you-
quick question. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, go
Can
ahead.
I-
Go ahead.
Hey, Anil, do you have these sessions starting every Monday? Is it like, or is it like how long? Is
Yeah.
it like,
Yeah, I just started it like last month. I have done I think 3 or 4 batches. So I am going to do it for every Monday.
okay, in case I'm not able to do it this Monday, I can join
You
next
can
Monday.
do this Monday. Next week you can join. Yeah.
Okay. And it's 5 days. You just do it.
5
with
days.
regular-
Yeah, Monday to Friday.
Okay. And your timings are same. You're not going to.
Yeah, I'm not going to change. Because I want to build both these habits. That's why I'm doing it in the early morning. And
Okay.
also since I am a working professional, I don't get any other timing. Yeah.
I understand. Anil. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much everyone for your time.
Thank you. Nilesh ji, yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much,
much,
Anil.